Iron Skillet Sports presents...
You know what it is. You know who it is. It's the Sizzle here on Iron Skillet Radio, Iron Skillet Television. We are the talk of the 219. Listen, fellas, we've got some football to talk about. We've got big news moving around. We've got the Dallas Cowboys making a signature with their quarterback of the future. Or is he the quarterback of the future? The question is, right now, is DAK Prescott the one that's going to lead the Dallas Cowboys to the Super Bowl? So for that question, we're going to go to our resident in-house football expert, Espionado. I don't know if that's a word, but we're going to make it a word. Espionado. I like it. It's a Sizzle term. Espionado. So, Rich Sizzle, as the Espionado on the panel, is DAK Prescott the one to lead the Cowboys back to prominence?
Well, he's going to be the one to lead, but I don't know if it's going to, I don't know if he's going to take him to the Super Bowl. But listen, what Dallas did was secure a situation that didn't turn out like a Le'Veon Bell. Guaranteed he's going to sign. He's guaranteed he's going to play. He's guaranteed a minimum $31.4 million for this year. I'm guessing they're going to try to still work out a long-term deal. Now, ask yourself the importance of a quarterback. Let's look at what happened with Jay Cutler when the Chicago Bears were stuck with Jay Cutler, because even though he wasn't great, he didn't suck too bad either. So they were forced to pay him money. DAK Prescott is better than most. I'm not going to say he's top 10, but he's good enough to say we got to pay him, because the alternative is what? You go get Twitchy Mitchy? Got to pay him.
Yeah, you got to pay somebody. I don't know who you got to pay, but you've got to pay somebody in this mix. And I think it's better to have a quarterback in hand than to look for one. So let me ask you, Jay Sizzle, are you surprised, or are you glad, or are you disappointed with the move that the Cowboys made to keep DAK Prescott in-house?
Show me the money. Show me the money. How you gonna pass up $31.4 million? And the thing that's happened right now is that this would have been the first time that the Cowboys would have rescinded the franchise tag. And I think they were going to, especially during this pandemic now, because they don't even know if they're going to play or not right now. You have 14 other players in the league who have signed franchise tags who have not signed long-term deals. So I think DAK had to sign and get this $31.4 million right now, or he could have very well have got a big goose egg, because the coronavirus is not playing around in the game of sports.
Yeah, you're right about that. I don't know. We're talking about money, and we're talking about money that's being passed around. I don't know, if we don't have football, what happens next? What happens to all these players and all these wonderful free agent moves that are looking to be made? What happens when you don't play football in the fall? Where do we go from there?
I'm very sure there is a clause in those contracts buried very deeply that in case God comes back, Jesus is here, the apocalypse happens, anything happens like that, they're going to void some type of contract. I'm telling you right now, if they don't play this year, it is very possible that football doesn't play this year. It's very possible that football doesn't play next year. I think we're going to see a resetting of these salaries in the NFL. It had to happen at some point in time anyway. Guys are making $31 million a year to play the game of football. That's what they're doing. Now, don't get me wrong. Get paid. I didn't get paid. Nowhere near did I get paid that. Get all the money that you can. But at some point in time, there's going to be a ceiling on that money. At some point in time, there's only so much money the NFL is going to be able to bring in. And now we're starting to find out that a lot of that TV money now is not going to be coming into the NFL. They're losing money left and right on this. I'm telling you, if this is a problem with these owners, at some point in time, they might say, hey, guys, we're going to shut this down. You're not going to be making that big money. So if you have an opportunity like DAK to sign for that big money, you better sign for it, because that opportunity might not exist later on down the road.
Couple of things you got to consider. Have you looked at any of the soccer games that have been going on? There's nobody in the crowd. It's it's oddly entertaining because you can hear the field. You can hear the players on the field. I can't understand what they're saying because they're speaking a foreign language, but I could imagine there's a few expletives that probably need to get bleeped out. It's a different touch to it. But from a consumer point of view, and we're looking at it now, look at how they're dealing with the airports right now. You can't even have a drink on the plane anymore. So is that what we're going to be embracing if we say, hey, yeah, we can have fans in our stadium, but you got to wear a mask. You can't have nachos. You can't have popcorn. You can't have anything like that. What fan base are you really going to be having coming to these games? And if you have no fan base coming to the games, how many of these people are really going to be watching TV and moving on beyond that? And like you said, Jay, they were debating on whether or not we should be paying our teachers when the COVID hit, because it's like, well, hey, you're not in the classroom, so what are we paying you for? Same thing with sports. I mean, come on now. You could have a whole school district out, and they're not equaling $31 million to what we're paying one person for. So you can only imagine, like you said, maybe that small clause isn't there, but there's going to be some pressure on there. If we're not playing sports, that money's got to be shown back.
Yeah, you're right about that. That money has to come back into the hopper somehow. But Jay, let's go back to this whole thought. And Rich, I know you'll jump in. Let's talk about this resetting. We've got a few more minutes before we close the segment out, but let's talk about the resetting. How does that work? How does that look to reset the landscape, especially the financial landscape for the NFL and for other sports franchises moving forward after this pandemic?
Well, it's all got to make sense money-wise. First thing, the only reason why these owners bought these teams, well, two reasons I will say. First thing was the ego thing. I owned the team. Maybe it was a team that they wanted for a long time, and they saw that it could make money for them down the road. Most of these owners, these teams are not their primary source of income. So they're not, all they really want to do, to tell you the truth, is if that can break even, I'm good to go. Now you come into a situation, a lot of these contracts are guaranteed, right? So if you got a situation, you signed for this money, what's going to happen when the league is not generating any money? Where they're going to have to formulate some other type of way to allow people to play football and not have those contracts involved. That's why I'm trying to say right now, you might see that the NFL as we know it, if they don't play this year and don't play next year, the National Football League might not be the National Football League anymore. Anybody want to call the XFL president? He already put $500 million out. Everybody can be playing for the San Diego Rough Riders or something like that, because I'm telling you, this is a real problem right here.
It's a real problem on all the sports, not just football. I mean, we're sitting here getting ready to talk about is baseball coming up in July, is basketball under the Disney on Bubble Ice show coming up in July, and you already got people saying, well, what am I playing for? What is the incentive? Just to get a paycheck, and then I got to risk getting sick and my family's sick, and like, what's going to happen in that bubble if one person catches the COVID, then everybody catches the COVID? Like I said, the ultimate winner, the ultimate dynasty in 2020 is going to be the COVID-19s. They have wiped out every last sport, and they are not slowing down. Now, we have our theory. I have my, kind of crass theories about, how to deal with the coronavirus. I'm not going to go into that. But the reality is people are afraid of this virus. They have a right to be. And it's so much so that people are willing to give up the things that they love. We love watching sports, love talking about sports. But is it worth it? And that's what people are going to have to ask themselves. Is all of this worth it moving forward?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think that's the truest question. At the end of the day, we do all love sports and want to be involved and entertained, but you have to ask yourself, is there something beyond the money? Is there something that is beyond what you just see as the financial gain? What are you actually doing it for? And that's the motivation. So our motivation before we leave out of here is we've got to leave the people with something hot. We've got to leave them with something fire. So Jay Sizzle, leave the people with something hot, fire, something to talk about.
Man, I have found out that when you're cooking, there's certain parts of the cabinet you just need to stay away from. That was the spices you brought from your mama's house, because you really don't know what to do with a bay leaf and some time. You don't know what to do with that. So leave that alone. Just get the Frank's Red Hot and just go with it like that. And also some seasoned salt, and everything will taste fine.
Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
I can't even with you. Let me, you know what? Forget it. Rich Sizzle, leave the people with something hot.
No, Greg, I like those glasses.
Thank you, sir.
I just, I'm really feeling the Malcolm X look. I just wonder, would Malcolm X have been a Cubs fan or a Sox fan?
I think he definitely would have gone for the South Side. But since this was the last championship I saw from a baseball team, I figured, might as well. I was like, yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for it. It's sports. It's back. I think.
Fair enough. So who do you think should be the next Malcolm X in the reboot then?
If you rebooted Malcolm X, you could put J. Cole as the next Malcolm X.
I'm with it.
We got Malcolm with dreads. I mean, it could happen. You never know. I'm not even.
Man, I think you just roll T.I. out there, man. You're gonna have Malcolm with that southern drawl going.
On that note, let me say, if you are not following us, please feel free to follow us. We need you to follow us. If you like what you're hearing, please make sure you like and share. Go to Facebook, go to Instagram, go to Twitter, and go to YouTube and find Iron Skillet Sports. There you can like and share this information. And look, if you want to get in on the conversation, we're also on Messenger. The Sizzle on Messenger. Talk with the 219. It's daily conversation about sports in the region, what's going on around the world. So listen, we want to thank you for joining us again for another edition of The Sizzle. Boy, this is hot talk, hot fire. I'm sorry we had to move so fast. But gentlemen, we thank you and we appreciate you listening to The Sizzle. We're out. We'll catch you on the other side.